The Aussie corner store of the 1960s was more than just a shop. It was the beating heart of every suburb, a magical place where pocket money turned into treasure and the shopkeeper knew your name. For us boomers, those little stores were where we learned life's big lessons, like how many lollies you could buy for a shilling or why you shouldn't nick a Chiko Roll when Mrs. Jones was watching. With their jangling bells and cluttered shelves, corner stores were a cornerstone of our childhood. Here are 6 things we miss about those glorious Aussie institutions. 1. The smell of everything mixed together. Walking into a corner store was like stepping into a sensory wonderland. The air was thick with the mingle of fresh bread, ripe bananas, and the faint whiff of newsprint from the stack of women's weeklies by the counter. There was something oddly comforting about that chaotic blend of smells. Part grocery, part lolly shop, part chemist. You'd catch a hint of Pino Clean from the back where Mrs. Smith mopped the floor, mixed with the sugary promise of Fantailers. No fancy air fresheners here, just the honest aroma of a shop that sold everything from toothpaste to tomatoes. We'd give anything to take one more sniff of that nostalgic bouquet. 2. The lolly counter of dreams. The lolly counter was the crown jewel of the corner store, a dazzling display that made our eyes pop and our mouths water. Glass jars lined up like soldiers, filled with milk bottles, freckles, and those hard-boiled lollies that lasted half the afternoon. We'd stand there, clutching our sixpence, agonising over whether to splurge on a bag of mixed lollies or save some for a Sunny Boy ice block. The shopkeeper, usually a patient soul, would scoop our choices into a little white paper bag and we'd feel like millionaires. Today's servo sweets just don't compare. Where's the joy in picking a pre-packaged Mars bar off a shelf? 3. The shopkeeper who knew everything. Every corner store had a shopkeeper who was part oracle, part community glue. Whether it was Mr. Brown with his apron or Mrs. Kelly with her sharp tongue, they knew everyone's business. Your mum's favourite tea, your dad's preferred smokes, and which kid was likely to pinch a gobstopper. They'd greet you by name, ask about your grand's bad knee, and maybe slip you an extra lolly if you were polite. They were the unofficial mayors of the street, keeping tabs on the neighbourhood with a smile and a warning to stay out of trouble. We miss that personal touch. Try getting a servo clerk to remember your name. 4. The milk bar vibe. The corner store wasn't just for buying stuff. It was a social hub where you'd bump into half the street. Teenagers would loiter out front, sipping milkshakes and trying to look cool while Johnny O'Keefe blared from the jukebox. Mums would swap recipes while picking up a loaf of bread. And kids like us would linger, hoping for a free ice cream sample. The milk bar section, with its shiny counter and spinning stools, felt like something out of an American movie. We'd order a spider, a fizzy drink with a scoop of ice cream, and feel like the luckiest kids alive. That sense of community, you can't find it in a supermarket aisle. 5. The random treasures on the shelves. Corner stores were like Aladdin's cave, stuffed with random goodies you didn't know you needed. One shelf might hold Vegemite jars next to fishing lures, while another had comic books stacked beside Bic pens and packets of Becks. Need a new thimble for mum or a kite string for your homemade masterpiece? The corner store had it, tucked between the Arnott's biscuits and the Golden Fleece motor oil. Half the fun was discovering something new, like those weird wax lips you'd wear for a laugh or a yo-yo that broke after 2 days. Supermarkets today are too organised. We miss the chaotic charm of those overstuffed shelves. 6. The freedom to be a kid. The corner store was our first taste of independence. Mum would hand us a few coins and send us down the road with a list. Milk, bread, and don't spend it all on lollies. We'd pedal off on our Malvern Stars, feeling like explorers on a grand mission. The walk to the store was an adventure, dodging cranky magpies, waving at the postie, or racing your mate to see who'd get there first. Once inside, we'd haggle over our lolly budget, learning the art of negotiation before we even knew what it was. That freedom to roam, to make choices, and to feel like a big kid, it's something today's youngsters, glued to their screens, will never understand. Why we miss it. The Aussie corner store was more than a place to buy stuff. It was a slice of our childhood, wrapped in brown paper and tied with string. It was where we learned to count change, charm the shopkeeper, and sneak an extra Jaffa when no one was looking. Sure, the world's moved on. Supermarkets and servos have taken over, and you can order lollies online faster than you can say, "Pass the Fantailers." But nothing beats the memory of that corner store bell jingling as we stepped inside, ready for another adventure. Here's to the boomers who lived it, the shopkeepers who put up with us, and the corner stores that made growing up in Australia so darn sweet.